want to remember and remind on my peers of all the changes that he made, while still reminding them and informing them that there's a lot of changes that still need to be made. I think we can go out of our way to treat each other with kindness and respect one another and really respect our differences and what makes us all unique.
I think just acknowledgement of current issues within the country regarding race, and don't just ignore people's sentiments and feelings about if racism is an issue. Just don't hide the conversation from happening. Have that debate so a real resolution can be found.
Great message.
We can continue Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s message by leading by example, giving back to those who are less fortunate, and really putting service over self.
Practicing positivity and looking for people's true character when talking to them.
Working hard towards a goal can have a really good outcome.
Treating everyone the same and not looking at people and seeing them by the outside, their outside appearance.
Back around in his time, many African Americans weren't allowed to play sports, weren't allowed to get the same education as whites, and if a white person was socially interactive with an African American, it was frowned upon. So I think it's important in almost every aspect of life.
What he did was that he fought for black rights. And I want to help to fight for my culture and my religion because we are considered the minority. So I want to help let them know that if the minority is separated from the majority, then we are not as strong.
I always want to incorporate diversity into my everyday life.
Just the idea of spreading acceptance and civil disobedience, and there's a lot of activism going on nowadays, and that really inspires me.
I think one of the most important parts of his message was peaceful protest and using that to show how bad racism was in the South, and it still is.
Advocating for a culture and a society where people aren't judged on their skin color, their outward differences, and really trying to cultivate a type of atmosphere where people are accepted for who they are, and really just trying to be inclusive and mindful of what people are saying and what people are doing to promote that message.
I feel like it teaches people today to really think about how racism is still present and how to peacefully protest in a proper manner to get your point through to other people who may not feel as though racism is still present.
In my opinion, I think a lot of diversity has been promoted, especially in our school and with cultural outreach, but I hope to further his message by making sure I really promote diversity in my everyday life and overlook race.
Helps us to promote racial equality and overall just sticking up for something that you truly believe in.
We've come a long way since the 60s when he was making these messages in the 50s, but there's definitely some work that needs to be done.
I realized I've reached out to different ethnicities and races. I know we have foreign exchange students, and I reach out to them and communicate with them and establish relationships with them, and that helps me learn more about the world and not just my race but other people's too.
I relate to today because you can still spread the love and positivity that he wanted to spread, and just the fact that difference is good and it should be embraced and welcomed.
Spreading diversity is good and gaining peace with all people.
And I think it's really important today because we're this generation is so diverse, and we should all love each other and work together.
Basically saw trouble throughout his entire country and also in his community, and he decided to take message and address this issue and make sure we do something about it. And I think this motivates many people to stand up what they believe in, especially right now with the Me Too movement and with women's rights, and everyone's just willing to stand up, and everyone seems to be braver and more willing to accept one another.
Today we're starting to be kind to others and accept others, and we're changing things too.
As an advisor, I teach very diverse classes that spread that message, and also I advise clubs that their focus is all about diversity and acceptance. So whatever small part people can do in the world to spread that message and include others and respect others regardless of their ethnicity or their race, I think is very important. So people need to realize that they are important. They do play a part in what's happening. Even if it's just a small corner of your world, do it, be a part of it, be an agent for change, be a voice of reason, step up if you see something that is not right or unkind to someone who may not look like you, or maybe someone that may be perceived as being different. So we all have a responsibility to play our part, and that, to me, is the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.